Can you tell us anything whatsoever, please?
I know you
Just give us one more station.
Welcome back to the Two Dudes Talk Music YouTube channel. I am the Reverend Raph here with my good buddy Kyle and our new friend Aaron from Gemini Syndrome and Woyote. So we had a very, very lovely chat on the podcast the other day, went through all kinds of amazing things, and we did sort of touch on some of Aaron's origins in music, but it is time now for the quick question quarter, spelt with Q's, not K's, because we don't roll like that. And the whole purpose here is a bunch of questions to help really drill into Aaron's musical mental mind and get a bit of an understanding of where he came from and where all of this incredible talent started out. So what we're going to be doing is just running through a bunch of rapid fire questions. They do start a little bit easy and then they get a little bit more introspective and involved as they get further down the list. So we're going to dive right in here. What was the first instrument that you learned to play? And yes, vocals does count as an instrument.
Voice, but really piano. I was singing very, very young, but I started taking piano real young. So
nice. Yeah. It's a great instrument for getting an all around understanding, I find, because you're covering so many elements in just the one thing on your own.
Linear. It's easiest to understand visually. There's no overlap. So like there's only one place to play every note.
What was the first album you purchased?
Well, I mean, the first album I probably ever purchased was probably like either Boys to Men or Ace of Base. Or
Ace of Base, yes.
That's one I haven't heard in a while.
That realm. I can tell you the first rock album that I acquired, I stole from my older sister, and that was Stone Temple Pilots' Core.
Ooh. Very nice.
I stole that, and alongside it was the greatest hits of Queen from her. I was probably about 11 years old when I got this, and then I had this precursor before rock music. I was real into I mean, just whatever R&B pop stuff was up. Boys to Men, ABC, East Coast Family, like all that kind of all that stuff. So. But then when I got in the rock, my sister getting Core from her, and then right around that same time, a friend of mine played guitar, and his older brother was in a band, and they taught me how to play guitar, and I learned some Nirvana tunes, and then I found Soundgarden, and all right,
man, that's a journey. Awesome. I mean, look, I can still remember before I really started getting into music, exploring my parents' vinyl collection, and they had like Best of Queen. My dad had like. I think it was the third or fourth Sabbath album. The Master of the one that's like black and purple on the cover there. It's with like Master of it had Into the Void and all that on it, like Into the Void, Sweet Leaf, all those kind of ones on there. So like that was okay. First live concert that you attended.
Man, again, it's like I don't totally remember what my first rock show was. I remember my first big event was this guy, Michael C. And I'm going to say Michael C. Hall, but that's Dexter. Michael W. Smith, who was like this Christian pop guy, and he played at the time the Rosemont Horizon, which is now the Allstate Arena in Chicago. And I remember having floor seats. But like my first rock show, like I don't really remember which one it was. Once I started going to shows, I went to all the shows. So it's hard to pinpoint.
Well, what are some of the really early ones that you can remember then?
The really early ones that I remember going to were like really early on I went and saw Counting Crows.
Oh yeah.
Chicago. That was an incredible show. Really early on I saw Ozfest 97. I was 15 and I saw Tool, Typo Negative, Megadeth, but I went and saw Pantera a bunch of times. I saw a Pantera, Incubus, Typo Negative lineup when I was like 14 or 15. I saw Dimmu Borgir on their first US tour. I saw In Flames and Moonspell at a VFW, like a Veterans Foundation, a VFW building in the suburbs in front of like 150 kids when nobody knew who they were. Yeah, I went to a bunch of cool shows as a kid, man.
Man,
Hell yeah,
In
dude.
Flames. Oh, dude, In Flames. They got to spend that. I picked Come Clarity as my wedding song.
Really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
love that
That's
song.
awesome.
Love that song.
What's an instrument you've always wanted to learn but haven't yet?
Uh, well, the violin. I have a violin, and I can sort of play some notes on it, but I can't play it yet. And that was my. I want to learn that before I die. I want to be a violin player.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
That's awesome. Maybe you could if you get good enough at it, slip it into one of the upcoming out Gemini Syndrome like albums.
Yeah, I mean, at some point, I'd like to record stuff with everything that I'm able to play.
Yeah.
I just need to dedicate the time to practice. I bought a violin and a viola, like used, you know what I mean, but in decent shape. And I mean, I don't totally suck, is what I'll say. I don't totally suck, but I kind of suck. Yeah.
All right. Now look,
That's
you
probably like a virtuoso. And it's just
yeah. It's probably just like
No,
busting out
no.
like the devil went down to Georgia or something, and it's like, no, I'm no good. I promise.
I'll tell you for real that I'm a good guitar player. Like I'm good with a guitar in my hands. I'm a decent drummer, right? I'm good at the bass. I'm good at the piano. I'm not really good at the violin. I mean that in the most sincere way I can say it. I just kind of suck.
All right. Now look, you've had the fortune to like tour around and play with a bunch of amazing bands over the years. Is there a big artist, a big band or artist that you haven't had the chance to open a show for or play with that you could just like, if you could just pick someone, your dream one to play a show with, who would it be?
Maynard.
Ooh.
Maynard from Tool or Perfect
Yeah.
Circle. Honestly, I've played kind of with everybody else that I would ever want to. Even I was gonna say Deftones, but like I played with Deftones at Aftershock back in the day. So technically, right, when I've played the same day, I opened for those guys in that context, right? I've gotten lucky to play with a ton of bands over the years, especially in those years where we were doing the festival circuits. I mean, that's where I found like Bring Me the Horizon. I had never heard of them, and I walked out. They were headlining the festival we were playing that day. I was like, "What is this?" And they're like, "You don't know who Bring Me the Horizon is?" No, I was living under a rock apparently.
Awesome, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I've never played with Tool or any of Maynard's projects, and he's undeniably, I mean, one of my biggest influences, one of my favorite artists, just overall. His stuff.
now that you mention it, I think your vocals on like as a feature or a thing on a Tool song would be like a pretty cool fit. I think like that'd be pretty amazing.
Hashtag MJK. What's up, man?
Hey, make it happen. Let's make it happen.
Yeah,
Hey, look, and if Maynard's watching us to hear that, please come on the podcast. We'd love to talk to you.
I'll buy a bottle of your wine and I'll sample it live.
It's good. I had his wine before I stopped drinking. I actually went and visited the vineyard and the tasting shop in Arizona and checked out Jerome and this cool old like kind of mining ghost town kind of deal. It's gnarly up there.
Hell yeah.
I reckon that's the only reason why he comes to Australia every now and then, so we can just go through all the wine tasting.
I'll go through the Barossa Valley and all through the
Barossa
wine,
Valley,
right? Yeah.
Newcastle. And
Yeah. This is a good one. I'm sure you'll have an amazing answer for this. I'm actually really keen for it. Who is an artist or a band that you're listening to at the moment that you think is severely underrated and more people should be aware of?
The Contortionist, I think, would be. I feel like there's a very obvious one that I'm missing right now, and maybe it'll come to me in a second. But I would say Sleep Token, but everybody knows who they are now. Yeah, the
I really got
Contortionist.
let out of the bag on that one.
If you're not hip to the Contortionist, I think they're super super dope.
All right.
Big fan of their stuff.
Cool.
Awesome. What is something people may be surprised to learn about you?
I'm adopted.
Wow.
Oh wow. Okay. That's okay. So is that are you? If I may ask, feel free to say no. Is that have you like sought out your birth parents, or have you just kind of left that away? And
Yeah. The long and short of it. I did seek them out. My father was passed on by the time we were able to find them.
I'm
My
sorry
mother.
to hear that.
This is all. Thank you, but it's all good. It's like not even my story anymore. It's somebody else's story that I'm reciting to you.
Okay.
My birth mother, we found her when I was about 7. We had some back and forth for years where there was like agreements to meet and then cancellations. So that was problematic. We ended up cutting contact. Years later, a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine named Denise, bought me an ancestry DNA kit for my birthday or for Christmas or something. Because one of the things I wanted to know really was reaching out to them was like my history, right? I know that I have a brother and a half brother and a half sister out there. And maybe it would have been cool to kind of connect with them too, but none of that ever came to fruition. But I got the ancestry DNA thing. I want to know what am I, right? I want to know my genetics and my kind of cultural history or whatever. I acquired the name Nordstrom from my stepdad after my adoptive stepdad. I changed my name to his when I was 12, and it's a Swede kind of Viking name. And I don't know, I kind of have the Swede Viking look, and I was curious, like, is there any, does this check? And so I did ancestry, and I ended up meeting one cousin who is also adopted, and we're third cousins, and we become super fast, close family at this point. And it turns out that I am like significantly Scottish and Norwegian and Viking. And so it all tracked out at the end of the day. But unfortunately, I've never, besides my cousin Sue Ellen, I haven't made contact with anybody from the blood side of the family, and I don't really have any interest to at this point. I got what I needed.
Okay. Cool. Thank you for sharing that. By the
Yeah,
way, I
for
realize that
opening
sort of
up like
stuff is
that.
extremely personal, and there's no
I'm an open book,
like
man.
We'll
There's
look.
nothing I really won't talk about.
Okay. All right. Fair. Look, but yes, thank you all
Thank
the
you.
same with that. And last question for the quick question quarter. Now, you have heard me introduce myself to the people watching at home as the Reverend Raph. It is because I am indeed a reverend. I am an ordained minister. And with that in mind, we would like you to open up to us, if you would, about what you consider to be your worst music sin.
I too am an ordained minister. My worst music sin.
However you interpret that question. However you interpret that question.
When you laughed just then,
Hmm.
the answer came into your head. I know it did.
It might have been a flash. That's an interesting question. How do I?
And look, when we ask this question, right, some people think of it as, okay, well, what's like a guilty pleasure that I enjoy musically, or some people say, and I never intend it like that, because I don't believe in the idea of having a guilty pleasure. Like, you like what you like, and that's, it doesn't hurt anybody, so go for it. It's more of a like intended for, what we often find with like the people in the more local that we're interviewing is it's like, oh, I don't like. I should probably practice more, or I'm constantly late to rehearsals and gigs, or I'm like blah blah blah, or I'm always this that or the, you know what I mean? It's that's the sort of generally how we intend it, but it's however you take it really is.
I'm here for it. And all that other stuff, like my worst, my embarrassing listens or whatever, covered everything. I told you.
Exactly.
I listened to all of it. So, I'm gonna say two of them because they both came in at the same time. And interestingly enough, I love it when conversations go full circle in any context that I have them. It always happens naturally. I don't try to intend this, but when we first got on the call, you had one of you, I forget who even said it, but said something about missing the mark. And the actual definition of sin is to miss the mark, right? It's really, so I find it interesting that we close like this. My sin is the twofold. One is being too self-consumed and not paying enough attention to the other people around me, whether it be other bands that I was on tour with at the time. I was just consumed a lot of my touring life with my own bullshit. Whether it was the fact that I was in pain for various reasons, or I was pouring booze on it, or I was preoccupied with shit that didn't matter. Whether it was what people thought of me, or how successful we were, or whatever. But it was being too consumed with my own inner world, and not in a healthy way. Being consumed with your inner world is great if you're making progress and you're like polishing things up and cleaning it out, but it's not good if you're just brooding on it. And then the other one that I think the deeper sin is that over the course of my career, there was times when I compromised my own something along the way at times, not like permanently, but whether it was my own creativity or my own voice or my own opinion, for fear of being in a confrontation or being judged or being disapproved of or being scolded or reprimanded or just not being liked or accepted for whatever various reason, not being authentically me and trying to do things to please others, knowing full well that those things wouldn't please me. I'm all about compromise, and you have to compromise in every area of life if you're going to coexist with other people. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that to forfeit your end of the compromise completely, in the hopes that it'll work out better in the long run, because it doesn't, because you're not being authentic.
No, well, that's what I think when musicians talk about selling their soul. I don't think they literally mean selling their soul to the devil. Some of them maybe. I don't know.
Robert Johnson looking at you.
They could do that whole crossroads thing. I don't know. That's not.
Yeah.
I think it's more that it's the shit that they don't speak up about that they know they should. And I think the new Diddy things are really starting to really shine a big light on the amount of people that just turn a blind eye to a lot of bad shit. And I think if you really get down to the crux of who they are, of human values before they became famous, they were never like that.
But yeah, well, look, thank you so much for being so candid with us. We really, really do appreciate that. And look, that does it for the quick question quarter. So again, thank you very, very much, Aaron. We appreciate your time and speaking with us here. We're going to have links down in the description to everything that's going on with Gemini Syndrome and Woyote. We're going to have links to the upcoming tour where Aaron's going to be out doing those acoustic Gemini Syndrome stuff with Killer's Confession and all that.
You could link to all my personal stuff too. Because not everything's getting promoted on those band sites because it's not those bands. So,
of course. Yeah, we'll have everything to the lessons and all that stuff as well, and all of your sites. We'll have your personal ones, and everything will be down in there. We take care of you, man. We take care of you.
Of course you would. You guys are pro. I know that.
Let's not go too far. Not go too far. But look, again, thank you very, very much, man. And for everybody watching at home, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't, downvote the shit out of it. We'd love to hear from you guys in the comments as well. Let us know what you guys have got going on. But thank you very, very much, everybody, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.
Peace.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We really hope you had a good time. If you did, please consider hitting that subscribe button and the notification bell down there. It helps the channel grow. We are still a fairly young channel, and we like to try and grow our audience all over the world. We do also, for those of you who are interested, have a Patreon. It's just a couple of bucks a month. At the moment, you get all the videos early and ad-free, but we are working on ways to increase the value of that and make it a bit more enticing. So don't forget to keep an eye out and check back on what's going on over there. Other than that, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day.